Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilots YouTube channel. Today is Hangar Flying, episode 16, whatever the date's going to finally be in August, but we've got a bunch of things for you today. Project Tiger and a bunch of other topics, so stay tuned for some more fun.
So we would like to ask you please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notify to stay current with our content.
Well, let's cover the stuff that's on the Project Tiger for this week. Well, the first thing we know is the engine's all back together. We had that done the other day, and then Saturday we finished the accessory case and the oil sump and finished up the cylinders and got paint on the airplane. Paint on the engine, both sides. So that part of the project is done. Now we're just waiting on the carburetor all to come back from overhaul so we can put the accessories and the prop on the engine, get it on the test stand, and get our 3 hours of runtime in on that. So stay tuned for more details on that. And as part of the engine going back together, we installed all new gaskets on it. Now the bright green ones on the left are the new ones for the roller tappet. We've seen the push rod tube gaskets for the normal aspired engines, but anyway, the new gaskets are all in the engine. That includes the gasket for the case halves and everything. So we were just examining all these little bits and pieces, and we have some still left in a bag because, like those gaskets on the engine, we replaced every one of them, so we've got some that have only been on the engine for 6 minutes of runtime. But considering that they sell for $30 a piece, 8 of them's $250 worth of parts that we had to put on the Project Tiger engine. But that's okay, it's all what's part of what we're doing. And then as part of putting the engine back together, we put new bearings in there because according to Lycoming, once you split the case, you have to replace the bearings, and that includes the big nose bearing up at the front that bears the bulk of the thrust and the vibration on the engine, and then you have these smaller journal bearings that go in the middle and the end of the case back by the accessory case. So all in all, a new bearing set's about $1,000 for an engine, and as long as we had it open, we did. And I'll just make the funny joke here that if you need some used bearings only used for 6 minutes, there's plenty much more time in them to go to TBO, but we'll just keep them in the shop. We're not going to be using them on a real airplane. But again, all the bearings were changed, all the gaskets were done, so the engine's coming back together, and as you saw in that one thing, the engine's all now painted, and again, we're just waiting all the accessories to come back so we can get on the test stand and get that part of the work done. And in anticipation of the engine coming in and being ready to be hung, we've ordered the new Lord mounts, the J9613-59s. Now these are different from the Barry mounts. A Lord mount is a better isolation. For one thing, it's got the gel pack that goes inside of the bearing. The Barrys don't have that, so we're going with the -59 Lord mounts on the airplane. So we hope you found all that part of it useful, and those are the more expensive ones, and I have flown behind both of them, and trust me, the vibration in the -59s is less. And we also put out a video on the prop hub AD 8227-01, but that only applies if you have the Macaulay props. And since most of them were on the FFA hub, if you've got a KFFA, it's not a problem. But this was all done on a customer's airplane, and we're not really worried about the prop AD for the Project Tiger because we have a brand new 6-inch prop and the bolts and all laying in a box on the floor waiting for the engine to come back. We're going to do the test run on the Macaulay, but then we'll switch over to the 6-inch when we get ready to make it back into flying shape. Now we also took a video the other day that we made a closer look at the red rudder caps, but I still have some of the scrap plastic here, and like I say in the other video, those gold shielded bar lamps that you see that have real gold in the glass to make them red, you would think there was real gold in this plexiglass. I mean, that piece I'm playing around with there is about $100, but that just kind of gives you an idea of what all is going on. So we've been working on the red rudder caps. We're in the final stages for them to start production, and we'll let you know when we have them in so that you can stand in line and buy yours. And in the event that Surefly gets their dual magneto solution, or Electroware does, we've been looking at the TCW's battery backup systems for 12-volt airplanes as a way to have the battery backup so that you can have dual electronic ignitions in your airplane. Jimmy knows this guy. He says he does really good work, and so we're interested in it, but we're going to wait and see what the fallout is. Will this unit work when Surefly or Electroware gets certified for dual solutions? We'd like to have that, and if it is available in time, we'll put it in the Project Tiger. Now, in our original gauge cluster, we have an oil temperature gauge, and it uses a Stewart Warner sensor, and occasionally we will get one we harvest from an engine, or we'll keep one around because you never know when they're going to be needed, and you just need to make sure which of the two varieties you have. Do you have the EW, which is on the left, or you have the EX, which is the other one, which is used in a few airplanes, but they are not interchangeable. These things are getting hard to come by, and there's not a good replacement for them right now, which is one reason why a lot of people are going with the JPI 900, replacing all the original gauges with the new sensors. So stay tuned for more details on oil sensors. One other thing that we do a lot during the week is we look at old parts that we have and see what they have to do to be repaired so they're a good serviceable unit. As in this case, we're looking at a purple tail cone, and it is sun faded on 3 of the 4 sides, and it has a crack in it. It also had some dirt and some debris and some other patches on the inside. But again, we're looking for the conformity of that part. Is it going to be back and be serviceable for an airplane and go back into flying condition? So we look at a lot of pieces like that we come across, and it's a lot more than just holding it in your hand and seeing it. Again, you're looking for structural problems. We're not worried so much about the paint. The dirt on the inside can be washed out, but when you're looking at a part like that, the cracks and other pieces that may make it unserviceable are what going to catch your attention fairly quickly in the process. So again, that's another little thing that we do. And we also do the same thing when we look at customers' airplanes. We come in, if we find some unusual repairs, we might call it to their attention. No need to re-repair them, but we just want to let them know about it. So that's what we do with the used parts. And in this case, we're just calling this one the purple tail cone. It did have that one egg blister in it, but there is a video out there on it all on its own. So stay tuned for that. And just to kind of give you an idea on sun fading, here's what it can do to your nice purple shiny paint. On 3 of the sides, as we mentioned, it was all sun faded from sitting out on the ramp all those years. But when you finally flip it around to the other side, there's quite a difference in the paint color. The purple looks almost brand new, and that's what you're looking for. So you want to get a good UV protectant in your waxes that you use, as well as a cover for your wings like Jimmy does. Jimmy parks his airplane outside and has everything covered. But there's no joke what sun fading can do to your paint, and here's a perfect example. So there's that on the purple tail cone. Also, in a separate video, we talk about when you remove parts from an airplane and you're salvaging, it's so easy just to cut all the wires off of like the flak motor assembly, and that would give you a switch that you could hold in your hand. But we tend to take them apart and leave all the harnesses together because you never know what other pieces they might need, the switches, the microphone jacks. It also helps us relay it back out when we go to examine it. But anyway, that's one way that we do it here at Yankee Aviation. We take those things out as an entirety and preserve all the harnesses. So there's a separate video for that one coming out, and stay tuned for it. Now, for those of you who get the Grumman gang, Rich Harrison out in Independence, Oregon, told us about Cliff Hansen, or sometimes known as Kip Hansen. He competed with his RV in a stall competition and walked away with a prize. Not bad. So he's a good, knowledgeable Grumman mechanic in the Independence, Oregon area. And just wanted to give a shout out that nice job and great for showing what you can do with your airplane. Let me also add that I met Cliff Hansen first time in 1995. He and his fiancee, who's now his wife, they were helping host the convention in Sun River in 1995. So he's been involved with our airplanes for quite a while, and he's quite the two-seat guy. So if you're in the area, look him up and say hi. Here's a little personal flashback for you. About the same time that American Aviation started making the Yankees in Cleveland, this is what I was doing. I'm in junior high, and I'm a male cheerleader at an all-country school. And because I had tried out for the cheerleading squad, I was too much of a sissy to play on their basketball team. But anyway, that's what I was doing about the time the first Yankees rolled out the door. And I wish I would have been into flying about then, because I might have had enough money with my lunch money to buy one back in the day when they were fairly nice to buy and reasonable. Now, I had to loan out Shop Monkey this week to Jimmy Candeletti, and they went up to Minnesota to pick up a Tiger, and they loaded it on the trailer and then brought it back to New Jersey. Well, actually dropped Matt off here on his way home, but Jimmy took it all the way to New Jersey. And when you're moving airplanes like that, you really want to let it be done by professionals. I mean, I get calls from people all the time. Hey, my buddy and I were taking my airplane apart to take it home to paint it, in the paint booth, and we dropped the wing, and we think we've damaged a rib. What's it going to take to fix it? Well, you're better off if you're going to be moving something and you're paying professionals to do it. Let them do it. Don't cause any extra damage on your airplane. It's just going to cost you money when they have to go replace it. So there's a cautionary tale about moving airplanes. And as part of adding the NAS server to our home network, we were collecting all our videos and stuff, and we found video that we forgot we had or even knew that we had. So here are some people clips that I think you'll have fun with. Enjoy them, and I'll be back in a few minutes with you.
Hey Joel, how are you? Hold up your little card. There's Mike again, couldn't give up working.
And since we're in the people portion of our program, let's go ahead and flashback. Somewhere back on the Grumman gang, you might remember, we had a gentleman by the name of Squirf, and he was advertising his book, Thunder in the Tummy. And I found a copy the other day on Amazon. I've ordered it, and I'm going to read it. When I'm done with it, I'm going to send it to Mark Matthews. But he kept breaking the Grumman gang rules so badly, because you're not supposed to advertise your stuff on the Grumman gang, over and over, like I'm selling this book, and it's really funny, and it's built around a Grumman. By the way, the FAA says he no longer has a Grumman, he's got a Piper now. But anyway, he got kicked off the first time by Mark for advertising his book too badly. He joined the Grumman gang again under a different address, email-wise, so that Mark couldn't tell who it was, and again started doing the same thing, and Mark kicked him off again, and he's not been allowed to rejoin. But I found his book, and there's a flashback for those of you on the Grumman gang who might remember this, so stay tuned for a bit more fun. So I haven't read all of the book yet. After I read it, I'm not going to make an endorsement one way or the other. I'm just going to see if I can read it. Martha Lunkin's book was nice, but a little difficult to read as well. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. We've been having fun and watching the kittens grow. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found all this useful and informative. Thanks for watching, and have a great day flying your Grumman. Freckles, our cat supervisor, and we'd like to introduce the new cats to you. We have Hopscotch there on the left. The other small ginger is Tarzan. He came with that name, and his sister will be popping up in just a second, and her name is Sweet Pea. These are the new cats that we've adopted into our home. It's going to be a nice little family, and we're having a ball. Thanks for watching.